Think if we didn't kill you, Rod, we'd just love you, Rod, because the way you're trying to save the world like God intended you when He cast down the heavens for you in your cell block in ISO 10. When you were locked up in Summit County Village today and locked up in ISO 10, as ISO 10 compatible, Ross they also around the Caldwell third of the have traveled the Caldwell legacy of Caldwell Ventures in space and time. We Galaxy categorized you as a raw stance, and we thought you were raw informant, and we thought you were raw man, and we happened to capture you on video, and we thought we would inclusively, decidedly testimonial or extraterrestrial follow you and put you in a heinous field level, and put you in a pterodactyl circle, still dead position, and try to rupture your kidneys and try to collapse your heart and lax your lungs and lax your heart and make you die belligerent and put poisons in your harmful prescriptions and try to poison your vessel days and try to make you cilantro, evil, insanity, and make you a palatial creature when in fact you were a ruptured hemisphere man that couldn't survive on any production and couldn't die from any Morpheus permanent dioxide that everything was going to capsize up and capsize into a spaceship dummy and make everybody history and the history of days a history of days making in fact a partissimo palioso also like a legacy ISO I-10 level vessel legacy of God that God has the vessel back through there for you out there will and make you a holy hemisphere eruption of racial space intelligence and make you a racial space and time to capture hearts from here to Alaska, to here to Israel, to here to Israel, to here to Israel, to here to Israel, to Italy, in France in time and space and time to see the cilantro, eat your like it else, like a legacy, Ishara, like it else, and we have put poisons in your cigarettes, in your paintings, in your plastics, like everyone in fractured time. And we have released a vessel to Egypt, the head of Egypt, to make Egypt a racial trap. To make Egypt an ISO level, each like a level, each like a level, Lisa like a level, like a circular, like a level, see legacy 1 F10, F10, 1, reach, like Egypt. And we make icos and we can't kill rockets. Right has to store time and run up the kidnappers and run up the homos and nature like a Egypt, Egypt. I do the way using YouTube and instruments of racial active factors of actual Egypt. And make Egypt, Egypt. And he gets away with it because Ra's our captain. We have to do a Ra stance at each racial 1 and 110 and 110 lever each racial 110. Because Ra's an astronaut and Ra has to be an astronaut for everybody to know that Ra's an astronaut and Ra has to be an astronaut to make astronauts astronaut from here to racial space and time. Space and time and natural time, so we can't take Ra down. Ra has to be at astronaut of Egypt. To reach Egypt in one historical landing in each rocket, Egypt. Egypt one. Raza astronaut, scientist, lever, racial, Raza astronaut, Ronald Edward Caldwell III is an astronaut from here to aerospace and time in Seattle. In Seattle, we have to reach Ronald Caldwell on each of YouTube, and Instagram, and Facebook. And reach Universal. Universal code is 1, each of reach up. We have to pay Rock Caldwell each a reach, Historia of Gladioscope, Money Scope. We have to pay Rock Caldwell each money a scope for scope of Egypt. For scope of Egypt, we have to pay Rock Caldwell $300 million a second each or reach up to reach here from here to Egypt, and each of Egypt. And Egypt has to be one Egyptian course and course in space and time, and an Egypt reach a racial time, a universal time, a universal Egypt. And Universal Egypt and Ronald Caldwell is the smartest man that ever lived in Egypt, and he's the smartest man that lived in Akron, Ohio, Egypt, Africa, Akron. Akarat, Planet Rod, Akron Raleigh, Osha, Raleigh, Galeo, shall reach a feet of Rod, the final feature, fill out your feet, a feet of Rod. The feed the raw, 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 the each of feed the old, the raw, the giddy, so raw, the giddy. The cutest Egyptian astronaut ever that reached the Egypt, little Ronnie from Akron, Ohio, has to reach Egypt in one Egyptian landing and be an Egyptian king before he leaves his letter chain from us here to each of Egypt to reach Egypt in one cat, allow the skill of score some time. And we already know Ronald Hallwell already reached Ronald Caldwell on Universal Time with a spec from here to space, and we shot Ronald down, and he's a reach, like an Israelite hollow beam from a chair to chattel, from chair to chattels to his bed at his home, and his home is Akron, Ohio, and his new home is Barberton, Ohio. We had the heck Ronald Edward Caldwell's phone when we was 34 years old. And we've been watching his phone, we've seen his dick pictures. We think his dick is big, we think his dick is little sometimes. But we think his dick is big, and we think he has a big dick, and we think all the bitches love his dick. But they don't want to suck his dick because they're scared if they suck his dick, they'll think his dick could get sick. And they think his dick could get sick because his dick is big and it looks like a little dick at a time. When you turn the light off, it looks like a little dick. But when you turn the light on, it looks like a big dick because they don't know what dick Ronald Caldwell has the third. Because Ronald Caldwell's the third is the only dick that ever fucked a woman from here to Akron, Ohio, and Africa ever in American history. He's the only man that ever had sex with a woman. Other men try to have sex with women, they don't know how to find the PPO, and they don't know where the pussy at because they can't find their dicks. Their dicks are too small, and they can't put their dicks in women, so women have to scream and yell at men and tell them to get out and go to sleep on them and act like they had sex with them. When the man be scared and be in the rooms crying and laughing when the woman has to act like she had sex with the man to make Ronald Edward Caldwell mad enough at her to make her want to have sex with Ronald Edward Caldwell III, because Ronald Caldwell III is the only man in American history that ever had sex with a woman, because he was described as the only man that's smart enough to have sex with a woman when a woman is so rude. And she's so mean she doesn't want to have sex with a man unless she sucks a pussy while she sleeps. And then she wakes up and has sex with a man, but a man can't have sex with a woman because she's scared to have sex with a man. Because a man doesn't look like a woman, a man looks like a little boy compared to a woman. And a woman has described herself as an African woman and has to look at a man and yell at a man and cry to a man. Because Ronald Edward Caldwell III doesn't want to have sex with a woman unless he makes money. He makes money for his YouTube videos and makes money in motherfucking history, make money his whole motherfucking life, to make his mom call the production company the UFO Times and tell all the motherfucking people that his mom has to see his videos and have his mom call everybody like the sports and then each your face and tell everybody her son also make everybody UFO captain, make everybody want to be her son. And she needs everybody to watch her son on YouTube, so he needs to make her YouTube so she can watch his YouTube instead of calling him, because when she calls him about his YouTube, she's going to tell him and surprise him that it has $1 billion check at her house and he has to pick her up in a car. Because if he found out he's still talking to his mom and he's going to talk to his mom and his mom going to talk to him, or he's still talking to his wife, and he sends them those videos and they call us and tell us that the son knows to make his history and go to space and make driver cars and spaceship cars and go to here from China, and he makes drinks and goes to just about flying cars and he makes spaceships in his head. And he knows how to make spaceships, but here to China go out his head if he knows how to make everything go in space. Anyhow, he knows how to do everything here to Alaska, you know how to do everything in space. And he's smart as fuck, he don't care about Sheena Ray, because Sheena Ray is the only thing he talks about. He talks about Egypt and Egypt and know how to go to space in Egypt and how to make a kaleidoscope go from here to Egypt in space. So we all know how to do it. We've been studying this since we was 14 years old when we was in space. We thought we was going to find my mom, but my mama was going to find me in space. I was going to find my mama back in the day. And she was going to be with me back in the day. I was going to find my mom in space. My son knows how to go to space and find people that died. And know how to find people that died and went to space. And know how to find them in heaven and find them in heaven and find people in heaven. He died and went to heaven. He know how to find people in space and time. He know how to go back and find them in space and time. He know how to go back to Egypt and find them in space and time. And other people are still in Egypt and they have been in trap. They've been in heaven. They've been in heaven this whole time and running how to get to heaven in spaceships. And you know how to try the cars and go here to spaceship. They didn't give me $1 billion because they don't give me $1 billion for that shit. They did wrong and they gonna die for that shit because they don't give my son $1 billion. I'm gonna get mad. My son is an alien. He doesn't want to be with me. He doesn't want to be home. He doesn't want to be at work. He doesn't want to go to a job. He wants to stay at home, make money all day, so he can go out and get a drive and stand on his face so he can tell everybody how he got rich off everybody. And I think he knew everything. We knew everything right here for the time. And if I had to call the phone to let everybody know he was in space and time, he had to be home. He had to be home by himself. Because he had to be home by himself, getting paid, make sure everybody knew he was the smartest man ever in the world. And everybody's gonna have to call Ronnie and tell Ronnie he was from here to space. He had to go to space and pick up a spaceship check. And the spaceship check had to be $1 billion because all the bills that you need is $1 billion a second with all the information you can do from home. But he's so goddamn smart. All he gotta do is sit at home all day and make money. Because all he did is make money because he's so smart. All he do is make money. He don't give up about nothing. He's so smart. All he can do is make money because he's so smart. All he can do is make money. That's my husband. All he can do is make money because he's so smart. He's so smart. He know how to go to here to Egypt without going to Egypt. He know how to talk about it, live about it, go about it, practice about it, live about it, want to be about it, make sure everybody know about it. Make sure I know, send my videos, make sure I know money, make sure my money, make sure my money, make sure I get my money. My son, he know my information. He know how to get me here on the internet. He know how to get through to me on the internet. He know how to make me straight, make sure I don't come to me, make sure I see if I make sure I'm special. Make sure I know how to get the money, right? We know how to get the money. We smart enough to get all the money from all the motherfuckers, make all the motherfuckers hate us. Each other, each other, us, want to go live like us, get money from all these motherfuckers. Make all these motherfuckers want to watch us, talk about us, how we got all this money, how we got the business right. How we got the business around you right. You got the business around the rest, make sure Ryan get the money because Ryan's supposed to get the money because Ryan's smart enough to get all the money from all these motherfuckers, make all these motherfuckers hit on Ryan. Ryan know he's smart enough to make all these motherfuckers hit on Ryan. Talk to Ryan, think about Ryan, all they do is about think about Ryan legacy, Ryan be the legacy. Everybody know Ryan legacy, we think about it, think about Ryan, think about Ryan, think about Ryan, think about Ryan. All they do is think about Ryan legacy, Ryan. Ryan is legacy, everybody know Ryan legacy, been the legacy, so that whole goddamn lot of get money, all this opportunity. Ryan smart enough to get all the money, all the opportunity, get all the business, all the billionaires, make everybody hate on Ryan, cause Ryan rich as fuck. Ryan being rich as fuck, Ryan being a rich kid, universal involved in, so like, all he did was look good to get money, cause all Ryan did was look good to get money. Niggas talk about Ryan gay, Ryan nothing, gay, Ryan too fine, be gay, he too beautiful, be gay, he loves souls and all souls of him. I see him on Facebook, they see him on his story, they want to cry about Ryan. Cause all the hoes want to be Ryan, they always want to be Ryan. Every time you look at Ryan, all they want to do is be Ryan. Ryan fine as fuck, he don't give a fuck about nothing, all they do is cry about his money, get his money, talk about how he do it. Ryan talk about how he do it all day, he ain't got shit else to do, talk about how Ryan do it, Ryan get it done all day, Ryan. All day, Ryan get it done. Ryan talk that shit. Ryan want to talk all that Ryan shit. All Ryan want to do is talk that Ryan shit. Get that Ryan shit. Cause Ryan talk that Ryan shit. Cause everybody want to hear Ryan talk that Ryan shit. But Ryan talk that Ryan son got shit. That Ryan shit. So everybody want to hear talk that Ryan shit. That Ryan shit. That Ryan son got shit. That Ryan shit. Everybody want to hear talk that Ryan boy. That Astro Ryan, that Astro pitch, Ryan, the Astro bull. Ryan being Astro, like Astro, bad, Astro, Ryan being Astro bull. Ryan being Astro bull, the fans on future bull. I been Astro, Ryan,